Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? It's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome fans to a Spread Special Edition. I'm your host Jim Stella. I'm in studio with Big Easy and Jay Dash. We're going to talk a little Hall of Fame finalists for you for the NFL. I think there was, 15 finalists total?
I don't know. You tell me. You have the list over there.
Well, you made the list.
Well, I wasn't counting them when you told me to write names down.
Could have numbered it. There's 18 total people on the list.
18
15
total.
modern era.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys I don't know there. Those contributors? Is that what they are?
Yeah, special contributors, I guess they call them.
And then there's a couple coaches. Who are the coaches? Tony Dungy.
We got Don Coryell, Tony Dungy, Jimmy Johnson.
All good coaches.
All pretty damn good coaches. Who's Mick Tingelhoff? Do you know him?
No, I don't know Mick.
Tingelhoff is the senior nominee. I don't know. This dude, if he hasn't got in yet, he's probably not going to get in. He was a good offensive lineman for the Vikings, though. They had a dominant D-line in the 70s.
I have no input on him because I just don't know him. I don't want to sum up the guy's career without even seeing him play.
Well, he retired before you were even born.
Ooh, there's tapes of him, I'm sure.
He had 10 division titles in an 11-season span. He was an NFL All-Pro 7 times.
What position?
Center.
Yeah, it's tough. There's some good centers that came through Pittsburgh, I tell you that.
Please
so
believe.
If he was anything like any of them, Webster,
Thank
Dawson,
steroids.
Then he definitely deserves to be in.
Dermontti Dawson. Remember Jeff Hardings, too, just recently moved from guard to center. He came from Detroit, I think. He played pretty damn good football for the Steelers.
Yeah?
I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer.
No.
Well, the contributor nominees are Bill Polian and Ron Wolf. Bill Polian spent time with Kansas City, Buffalo, Carolina, and Indianapolis. 32 seasons in the NFL. That's a long time.
That's Dick LeBeau territory.
He built some good football teams. He was with Buffalo during their Super Bowl runs with Jim Kelly.
Four Super Bowls.
With Indianapolis when they had Peyton Manning.
0 wins.
Yeah, that was rough, huh?
Tough.
His teams had 5 combined Super Bowls. Polian.
Not bad. So what was his record? 1-4 or 0-5?
No, he won 1 with Peyton, didn't he?
Maybe.
Yeah, the Colts won 1 against Chicago, right?
Yeah, didn't they make another one though?
Yeah.
So was he there for that one?
He wasn't there for all 4, I don't think, of Buffalo's.
Oh, okay.
He was just there for part of that time. The other guy, Ron Wolf, he spent time with Oakland/LA. He spent time in the AFL, and he spent time with Tampa Bay, the Jets, and Green Bay. Wolf spent 23 seasons helping build a Raiders franchise that posted winning seasons in all but 6 years during that time.
I'm not an Oakland fan. Them and the Steelers were big rivals back in the day.
Please believe, especially going through the 70s.
Yeah, correct.
Immaculate reception in your face, Ron Wolf. Let's get to some people that our fans actually know who they are. Maybe not this guy because he's actually pretty old himself. Morton Anderson.
Yeah,
Love me some Morton Anderson. Tell me when you had a video game of football and you could get a kicker in free agency, you didn't always want to try to get Morton Anderson. Dude was beast.
Every video game ever made, he was probably on. From Atari to Madden 2015.
I was playing him on Tecmo Super Bowl. Yeah. Morton Anderson was in the league from 82 to 2004. That's like almost my whole lifetime.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
He started when I was born, so until he retired, he played my entire lifetime.
Kickers have a hard time, so I don't know if he'll make it in. If a kicker does deserve to get in, I'd say it would be Anderson. But
this is the all-time leading scorer.
Yeah.
Vinatieri may be one day.
Vinatieri had a lot more big kicks than Morton Anderson did.
If any
He's
kicker,
a Hall of Famer.
He hit
first ballot kicker.
First ballot.
To kick in the snow like that in those big moments, Vinatieri was on it. It wasn't Brady. It was Vinatieri who carried the Patriots Super Bowls.
Yeah, it wasn't Brady.
Well, what about Jerome Bettis? Everybody in Pittsburgh loves them some Jerome Bettis.
That's a brutal conversation.
Bettis split time with Pittsburgh and St. Louis, played from 93 to 05. He was beat up a little bit towards the end of his career, but I don't know. He was fifth on the all-time yardage list when he retired. He's sixth now with 13,662 yards. but he does only have a 3.9 average, and I'm pretty sure there's about 20 running backs in the Hall of Fame who have a better average than Jerome.
I can tell you what, when he was traded to the Steelers in that draft, I was so pumped.
I was so excited.
Yeah.
I think we were in, 7th grade maybe?
I can't remember. All I know is they never do stuff like that. So when they did that, it caught me by complete surprise. But listen, he was a 6-time Pro Bowler and a 2-time first-team All-Pro.
And a great person in the locker room. I mean, he was a team leader. I love Jerome Bettis.
Listen, he only averaged 3.9, like you said, but for many seasons, he averaged well over that. He had 4.8 one season, a 4.4, a 4.5. 4.9 is rookie season for St. Louis, unless that was L.A. at the time. I can't even remember.
I think it was St. Louis.
93?
Maybe it was L.A.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But this guy was a beast.
Always. He had some nimble feet for a big guy.
91 career rushing touchdowns.
What killed his average was later in his career when he was gracious enough to accept a diminished role with a team to be a leader in the locker room and get 3 carries for 3 yards and 3 touchdowns in one of the games. Do you remember that in week 1?
Yeah, in 2001, he averaged 4.8. And then the next 4 years, he averaged under 4. But he also wasn't the workhorse anymore. So really, that's it. Goal line carries, you can only get a yard and score a touchdown.
Exactly. And that's what he became. He was our short yardage and goal line back, and he was happy with that. And the few times that we had to bring him in, like that one Chicago game in the snow, he just came in and dominated. Bettis gave it his all on the field every single minute he was out there. He was just a great football player, great person, great everything. I would vote him in.
I want him voted in, too.
Not even
doubt.
The only way he wouldn't be voted in is if when he fumbled in Indianapolis.
Yeah, Ben
Big Ben
saved him.
his Hall of Fame vote.
Big Ben is the reason why he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Listen, this is his 5th year in the voting process.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
So he needs to get in soon.
Well, I don't think they kick you out of the process.
I don't think they keep you in forever, though. After a while, they just take you out.
Probably.
You can get in a senior committee. He'll get in. There's no way he's not going to get in.
Senior.
Screw senior committee. Those dudes are dead half the time. He needs to get in while he's alive.
What about Tim Brown? He retired 2 years before Bettis. He played for Oakland, and it says here he played for Tampa Bay. I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I believe it was at the end of his career.
17 NFL seasons. He's 5th on the all-time career receiving yards list with 14,934. He was a 9-time Pro Bowl pick and a member of the 1990s All-Decade team. I hate the Raiders, but he was pretty damn good too.
If it wasn't for Jerry Rice, he would be probably the best wide receiver of my time, in my opinion. This guy is a must
start right now if he's in fantasy.
I don't know.
Tim Brown is T1.
Tim Brown must be in the Hall of Fame. 100%. This guy was a beast.
We should make a Hall of Fame fantasy team. Have them go against each other. Yeah, Tim Brown definitely got the short end of the stick. Not going up against Jerry Rice, but playing in the same era as Jerry Rice, because Rice made all wide receivers look like garbage, even though they weren't.
14,934 yards receiving.
Yep.
Over 1,000 receptions. If this guy doesn't get in the Hall of Fame, stupid. 9-time Pro Bowler. I mean, what else do you need from a wide receiver?
Super Bowl win.
Well,
I think that's the only thing that holds him back. I'm not saying it should. I'm just saying.
You sure they didn't win a Super Bowl? I know Marcus Allen was a Super Bowl MVP, so I don't know if Tim Brown was on that team or not.
Yeah, God knows he played almost 2 decades. He might have been.
Did Oakland win a Super Bowl in 2002?
No, didn't they lose that Super Bowl? And that's when they spiraled out of control. They lost to Tampa Bay.
They lost to Tampa.
John Gruden.
I don't think he did win a Super Bowl then, no, because he was a rookie in, 88?
Yeah.
That Marcus Allen had that Super Bowl MVP before that.
Yeah, so Brown, no Super Bowls for you.
It doesn't matter, though. Wide receivers, they don't need Super Bowl rings like quarterbacks do.
What about our first coach we got here, Don Coryell? He coached for St. Louis and San Diego between 73 and 86. He was named NFL Coach of the Year in 74 and AFC Coach of the Year in 79. His 31-11 record from 74 to 76 marked the most successful 3-year stretch in St. Louis Cardinals history. Now the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't know anything about him, so
Air
Coaches-
Coryell. You don't know anything about Air Coryell?
I'm not.
He revolutionized the passing game when he went to San Diego with Dan Fouts.
The NFL is not my passion. I hate to say it, but
What is?
Beer and Doritos.
machining.
If I was talking about threading a needle, you'd be all over it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't
Coaches
matter
in
to
the
coaches
NFL,
to me.
yeah.
If they coach 50 years like Dick LeBeau, then it's something. But besides that, if they want to put him in, they put him in. If not, I don't care. Whatever.
Well, like,
I mean, Bill Walsh,
What year is
Vince
his
Lombardi.
eligibility?
These guys deserve to be in.
Well, he's been
Everybody else, I
retired
don't
since
really care.
'86, and he's still trying to get in. So I can't see him kicking him out. Bettis out anytime soon. Let's go talk about a player. So you guys quit your bitching. What about Terrell Davis?
Short career.
Anybody who is around our age knows about Terrell Davis. He burst onto the scene with Denver. He became the fourth runner in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards in a season and led the NFL with 21 rushing touchdowns. He's part of the NFL's all-decade team of the 90s, but he only played 6 years. And to me, you say Ben Roethlisberger's not a Hall of Famer quite yet because he needs a little bit more yards and at least maybe another Super Bowl appearance. Well, I can't see you putting Davis in there if he's only got 6 years and 2 Super Bowls.
It's tough. He was one of the best running backs when I was a kid. I remember that. Everybody always loved Terrell Davis. And I remember in one Super Bowl, they said he couldn't even see. He just took the handoff and ran forward to score a touchdown.
Why not? He battled migraines through his career, didn't he? Pretty sure.
This is his first year, though, so I'm probably not going to put him in this season, especially with such a short career, no matter how good it was. I think
He shouldn't go in over Bettis right now.
Never.
Nah, 3-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro. In his prime, I think he is better than Jerome Bettis, but Jerome Bettis deserves it more just for what he's done.
Bettis' longevity over his career is so much, just his durability.
Right.
You gotta give it to him more than Davis. F. Davis.
Davis in 1998 ran for 2,008 yards and 21 touchdowns. That's
Yeah.
a huge season right there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And that was after a 1,700-yard season.
Yeah, he's one of the few running backs who's been able to put together 2 huge seasons with a lot of carries in a row, but then his knees collapsed
Yeah.
right after those 2 seasons.
Listen to this. He had his first 4 seasons were over 1,000 yards and up to 2008, like I said. And then his final 3 seasons, he barely got over 1,000 yards combined in those 3
Yeah,
seasons.
dude, he just
Injuries.
completely went to garbage,
We're trying to put a guy in the Hall of Fame here for 4 years.
which is why I don't think he should get in.
And not now. He
Nope.
has to wait at least as long as Jerome Bettis waited.
There's no way. I don't know if I'd ever put Davis in. It's just not there. Like you said, it's really 4 successful years, and then the rest was garbage.
Who else did that, though? Was it Gale Sayers that
Gail
had the real
Sayers
short
had, yeah, I
career?
think he had it was 6
You
to
don't
8.
want to forget these guys over time, but it's hard to just throw them in for that short stretch.
Not enough for me. All pro, yeah. A great, in his time, in his prime, yeah, but probably not a Hall of Famer for me.
I like him. I wouldn't put him in either.
What about Tony Dungy, another coach? He coached with Tampa Bay and Indy. He kind of rebuilt the Tampa Bay franchise, got him pretty close. He left Tampa Bay for Indy. Gruden came in, won a Super Bowl with Dungy's players. Dungy built up Indy, won a Super Bowl with his own players. Then he retired.
I love Tony Dungy. We beat him to go to the Super Bowl. He played for the Steelers. Love this guy.
He was the first African-American head coach to win a Super Bowl.
Very nice.
Him and Lovie Smith coached in a Super Bowl against each other, right?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
they did, yeah.
Dungy won. I love Dungy. He was a great player. Is he in as a player? I don't think so.
No, he only played 3 seasons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But he was a Steeler.
His first 2 seasons were with the Steelers. I actually have his rookie card for the Steelers.
Nice.
Badass.
Dungy, to me, sums up what a coach should be nowadays. When Chuck Noll coached with the Steelers, we kind of touched on this the other day. It was his way or the highway. You didn't talk back to him. He could say whatever he wanted to you. It was a different era. Dungy knows how to talk to people. He knows how to nurture, people's emotions. He's there for his players. He was more of a father figure than, that mean coach who you just were afraid to say anything, so you just did it anyway. You respected Dungy, you loved Dungy, so you went out there and you laid it all out for this guy.
Looks like an Ethiopian.
He was a little freaky looking. Kind of looks like he could be related to E.T. And his initials are TD. We should do a 3D movie with E.T. and TD. All right, so far out of 6 modern era candidates, Anderson, Bettis, Brown, Coryell, Davis, and Dungy, I'm putting in Bettis and Dungy.
I'm going to say Bettis and Brown. Brown's the first one that got to be in.
I agree with you.
With me?
Brown and Bettis, yeah.
Yeah, Dungy,
He can wait.
He deserves to be in eventually. Yeah, he can wait.
All right, we got a couple more players here. What about my favorite linebacker of all time, because he reminds me of my idol Hulk Hogan, Kevin Green. I loved Kevin Green when he played for the Steelers with Greg Lloyd. Dude, was the greatest thing ever.
Quiver and quake.
Dude, they were awesome. Awesome.
Green's a 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro. In his final 12 years as an NFL football player, he missed 4 games.
That's hardcore.
He ranks 3rd on the NFL's all-time sack list with 160. He
Big
was
time.
also a member of the 90s All-Decade team. We got a lot of 90s All-Decade teams on here.
Yeah, this guy's another guy that's really... He
Just
has to
look
be
at
in
him.
the Hall of Fame eventually. This is his 4th year up for voting. So he needs to get in soon, too.
Jeez.
This guy definitely deserves to be in. You have to wait 4 years in your 4th all-time in sacks.
The thing that hurts Green a lot, though, is he wasn't great against the run. Not that he was terrible, but he was pretty much just a pass rusher.
Well, that explains the 160 sacks.
Imagine if he was on the defense right now, though.
Yeah, that's what teams right now are dying to have.
Yeah, there is no Kevin Green in the league right now. A
There-
really pure pass. J.J. Watt's the closest thing right now, honestly.
Well, yeah, as a pass rusher.
From 1988 to 1999, 12 years, easy. How many times do you think he had less than 10 sacks?
In a 12-year span, less than 10 sacks. I don't know if you do the math, once or twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
What do you have when he played for the Steelers?
When he played for Pittsburgh, he had 12 and a half in 93, 14 in 94, and 9 in 95, one of his 2 seasons in that 12-year span with under 10.
And that's the year we went to the Super Bowl, right? 95.
Yeah,
What did Lloyd have that year? Do you just know off the top of your head?
you're dead wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. either. Is Lloyd in the Hall of Fame? Does anybody know that? I guess
No.
he played a little bit longer than Green, right?
Green's a much better football player than Lloyd. Maybe in a 1-year span, he had the better season, but in the long term, Green was the better player.
Well, I would probably vote Green in. Some of that could be my sentimentality going because he played for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, who do you got? Bettis, Dungy, and Green.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a Yinzer, man. What do you want me to say?
Sorry, Tim Brown. You should have played for the Steelers.
That's right. Maybe if he'd have played for Pittsburgh, I'd vote for him. But until that, screw him.
Well, looking at these other guys, Kevin Green might be on my list right now.
Yeah, believe that.
Yeah, Kevin Green definitely deserves to be in at some point.
Another reason that could keep Kevin Green out is a guy he's going up against right now in Charles Haley. Haley is the only player to ever win 5 Super Bowls, 2 with the Niners and 3 with the Cowboys. If you're a 5-time Super Bowl champion and you were actually a force on those defenses for all 5, not just some guy who, got lucky and was a backup on 5 Super Bowl teams, he was an impact player. He was a great pass rusher.
But again,
I might put Haley in before Green.
I don't think so. I say Kevin Green. He lasted longer. He ended up with better stats. I understand you can't necessarily compare the two. Charles Haley, he definitely deserves to be in at some point too. But I think Kevin Green had the better career.
But did he have the impact on the defense? Charles Haley was the premier pass rusher on basically every defense he played on.
Played on 2 dynasty teams.
Yeah.
That's if Kevin Green would have played for these teams, you'd be saying the same thing about him.
But my point is Haley was an impact and a reason why both of those teams were dynasties.
Partially, yes.
Not the only reason, yeah, just partially. That's the only, I don't know, 5 Super Bowls, man.
Joe Montana and Troy Aikman had something to do with those teams. Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Roger Craig.
We'll see.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Charles Haley is a great player.
So out of the 2, if you had to pick one, would you pick Green or Haley?
Green. I see a lot of years here where Haley is well under 10 sacks. Well under.
What about you, Easy? Green or Haley if you had to pick between the 2?
Green.
Green? All right, well, I got to stick with green, brother.
Bullock, Dallas.
Spread sweep.
Green does look like Hulk Hogan.
He definitely looks like Hulk Hogan. What about that goofy-looking Marvin Harrison? Look at that picture. His head's freaking 3 different shapes. Harrison was a beast-ass receiver.
He did have Peyton Manning for most of his career. And
no, yeah, but so
he
what?
is the Antonio Brown is second all-time in catches with 129 in a season.
Yeah, Harrison
only
has
behind Marvin Harrison.
Harrison had 143 receptions in 2002. He's an eight-time Pro Bowler, a member of the 2000s All-Decade team, and was he there when the Colts won the Super Bowl? He was done in 08.
Yeah, he was there for the Super Bowl. What year was that?
07.
Yeah, he was there. Listen, this is another guy that had over 1,000 receptions with 1,102 and over 14,000 yards receiving, just like Tim Brown. Both of these guys deserve in. I'm putting Tim Brown in before Marvin Harrison, though. This is just his second year in the voting.
Well, Marvin Harrison's already made the all-thuggery team because of those gun charges he had against him.
Yeah.
So he's already on the most precedented, prolific list you could be on. So he doesn't even need the Hall of Fame. He's got the all-thuggery all day. Well, Jimmy Johnson coached an all-thuggery team himself in the early 90s when he led the Cowboys to 2 Super Bowl victories and was named the NFL Coach of the Year in 1990. He had a 7-1 playoff record as the Cowboys head coach, and he led Miami to the playoffs 3 of his 4 seasons there, but no Super Bowls. They weren't gangster enough for him.
Let me say this. Emmitt Smith is anything but a thug.
This will be the second Hall of Fame he's elected to because he's already a member of the Head of Hair Hall of Fame.
The Head of Hair, dude, I bet you...
He has a great head of hair.
I bet you Head and Shoulders wants to get a hold of him and Troy Polamalu at the same time.
I wonder if it's still real.
It's all real. Look at him. He's all Hollywood. I love Jimmy Johnson.
He is Hollywood.
I wouldn't elect him into the Hall of Fame yet, though. But
Yeah,
I did like
it's tough
him.
to say. All
drinks
the
Bud Light,
dynasty
though.
teams, they say, have these great coaches, but was it the coaches or was it the teams? A combination of both? It's hard to say.
Well, nowadays, people are kicking coaches out left and right. So
Yeah.
if teams are, even if you have great players, you
Well,
have to
Harbaugh-
credit the coach. You got to keep all those big heads together. You know what I mean? I'm sure Irvin and Smith. I mean, I don't know. But, you would think like they all had
Adrian, Irvin,
huge
and
egos.
Smith, I think almost any coach could win with that, though.
John Harbaugh has a Super Bowl ring, and he's a god-awful coach, so it can't always be the coach.
Yeah, but if you win
Talking
3 or
about
4
that
Super
Baltimore dude.
Bowls, it's a little different that the coach. Hell, I never thought Jimmy Johnson was a great coach myself. I just thought he had a beast team. But you could say the same about Chuck Noll if you really wanted to.
Maybe Jimmy Johnson wasn't a great coach, but maybe he was the best person for the job, like Easy said, to just keep the locker room in check, keep the egos in check, and keep them all focused
Dallas #1's a
on
circus.
winning. You know what I mean? It's a tough
Yeah.
thing to do, to take a bunch of grown men
In a
and get
circus.
them to listen to you and get along in that, that
With
circus
Jerry
environment.
Jones's freaking circus.
Drugs. I mean, basically, what was that movie with Al Pacino?
Sex, drugs.
Any given Sunday?
Any Given Sunday. That was basically written about the Dallas Cowboys. Al Pacino was Jimmy Johnson in that movie. Lawrence Taylor was doing coke off of strippers' butts.
Yeah, but, I mean, who hasn't done that?
You got me there. But still, for me, Johnson, nope. Not this time, buddy.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, I'm going to say not right now either.
Moving along to one of the whitest looking dudes I've ever seen in my life.
Manute Bull.
John Lynch. I mean, his name is just white. My name is John Lynch. It could be Lynch John, and people would just be like, word? That's cool. 15 seasons. He helped the Bucks win a Super Bowl.
9-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, so you rudely cut me off.
That's why I cut you off.
What's he been doing? What's he do nowadays? Does anybody know?
What's he do nowadays?
He's still coherent.
I think he works Border Patrol down in Texas and chases around the illegals.
That's Arizona.
He actually played some baseball. He had some baseball cards made of him, too.
Get out.
John Lynch.
Get
who?
out of here.
For who?
Shut the
Toronto
front door.
Blue Jays.
Toronto.
Yeah.
I always
Is
love
he
when
Canadian, eh?
athletes have baseball cards that aren't baseball players.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know if I put Lynch in, though. Great player, but is he Hall of Fame? Is there anything that you do?
Maybe not right now. What's this? His second season up for voting.
In this class, I can't see putting him in.
Yeah, not in this class. It's
Is he better than Troy Polamalu?
No.
no.
then I'm not putting him in.
Well,
That's
you're going to have like
simple.
2 safeties for the rest of NFL time.
Polamalu was awesome, but if you're not as good as Polamalu, Bluck you're out of here.
I say I put him in, just not this year.
All right. Easy? No?
Yeah, not now.
All right. You're out, Lynch. Moving along to a dude, I was telling a story here to Dash before we were on the air. I remember the draft when Orlando Pace was picked. There was so much hype leading up to that draft. He was going to be a Hall of Fame left tackle. He was going to anchor whoever's line drafted him. He's going to be there for 20 years. Dude was basically an immovable object. And then all of a sudden, he gets drafted by St. Louis, becomes beast, goes through his career, and now he's already being voted into the Hall of Fame possibly. Boy, does that make me feel old.
You are old.
How do I watch a guy get drafted, go through his whole career, and already come up for Hall of Fame eligibility?
Oh, man.
That's ridiculous. Pace anchored an offensive line that threw for the most yards in NFL history when Kurt Warner was at quarterback. He's a 7-time Pro Bowl selection and a 5-time All-Pro selection.
Yeah.
Is that Hall of Fame worthy? He has Super
Yeah, he's
Bowls.
definitely a Hall of Fame lineman, 100%.
What year is his eligibility here?
He
This
retired
is
in
his
09.
first time.
So
Yeah.
This is first ballot then.
First ballot. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? It's hard. You don't find
First-
many
Yeah.
tackles. You know?
Well, first ballot Hall of Famers, period, really had to be like the best at what they did. Kind of like revolutionized a position.
So you would kind of
who
think
else
he's
was
getting
there, though?
and just not well.
Jonathan Ogden was a great player. I know that.
Well, another guy who's up for this year, Will Shields. I think Shields might deserve it a little bit more than Pace just right now. He started 223 of 224 games over 14 seasons for the Chiefs. He was a 12-time Pro Bowl pick and a member of the 2000s All-Decade team. That's beast.
Yeah, this is his 4th season up for voting. Did
Yeah.
you say 12-time Pro Bowler?
Yeah. The only thing that Pace has over Shields is the Super Bowl victories.
Right.
But KC never had
See,
a
I think
quarterback.
Pace was a better player, but Shields may deserve it because he's waited longer.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
definitely a great player, too.
That's the point I was trying to get to. Shields just deserves it this year over Pace, I think, if one of them were going to get in, because he's paid his dues a little bit earlier. Pace definitely should get in at some point in his life.
Like-
Probably in the next 2-3 years, really.
I'll agree with that.
Like you said about Shields playing from 93 to 2006, he didn't miss a game.
Yeah.
Not one.
He played 223 of 224 games over his 14
No,
seasons.
he started those games. He actually played in that game, though.
Oh, all right. Word up.
It was probably the first game of his rookie season.
Yeah. Dude got hurt. He came in, never let go.
Yeah, so he's in.
Yeah, I would put Shields in over Pace. Now, 2 guys, I don't want to call them controversial, but first one, Junior Seau. First of all, rest in peace, Junior. It's sad what happened to you.
Yeah.
Great career. Now, he's a linebacker. I don't know if he revolutionized the linebacker position, but boy, was he a damn good player.
When I was young, he was always the first linebacker you thought of.
Please believe. Junior Seau was beast. You remember in the 94 AFC Championship game when O'Donnell tried to throw that pass over the middle, I think it was Barry Foster, was kind of falling to the ground, and I'm almost positive it was Seau who reached over and swatted that ball away from Foster and didn't allow the Steelers to pick up the first down, and that's why we didn't go to the Super Bowl that year.
I wouldn't doubt it. He used to give us fits when he played for San Diego.
Man, look at this picture I got right here. It makes him look like the water boy, Bobby Boucher. He's got that crazed look. He's just running with his arms wide open. Yeah! He's about to
Seau,
murder
man.
somebody in that picture.
And he was crazy too. Well, he reminds me a little bit of like a linebacker version of
Believe
Polamalu, probably.
it.
He gave
He was
his,
so crazy, it
Yeah.
ended his life.
He was a first-team All-Pro 8 times, selected to 12 Pro Bowls, was the Chargers MVP 6 times, NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 92, named to the NFL All-Decade Team of the 90s. He went to a Super Bowl with San Diego. I'm not sure if he went to a Super Bowl with New England or not. I'm pretty sure he was there when they won one of them.
Maybe not one. I think he was there.
Or maybe he was there just there when they went to one. They might have lost
Yeah.
that one to the Giants.
It was 2005 when they won their last one, correct? When they beat the Steelers in the AFC Championship. And then after that, they haven't won one, but he was there for the next 4 seasons after that. And they did make it, but lose.
Okay.
I think the one year, it was the 16-0 season, actually.
Yeah, the year that the Giants beat them.
Yeah.
Good for you, New York. But yeah, Seau, great player. Is this his first year eligibility?
Yes.
Put him in. He's a lock. I'm sorry. I don't even.
I
Out
don't
of
know,
all
man.
these guys, with what happened to him and everything, I put him in right away. Boom.
So if you end your own life, you deserve to go in easier?
No, the impact he made for football and the way it destroyed his life physically, I just think the NFL at least owes it to him to vote this dude in. The stats are there. It's not like his stats aren't there.
The NFL,
No, but
the
you look,
NFL
he-
owes it to his
Not
family.
that he was supposed to have a ton of sacks, but he has 103.5 sacks less than Kevin Green.
He was a middle linebacker.
I
though.
understand.
He didn't blitz the quarterback.
Well, he still did, obviously.
Sometimes. But that wasn't his primary job. His job was to roam the middle of the field, stop
Right.
the run, and stop the pass over the middle. And he did that better than anybody, at that position in his time.
He did end with 18 interceptions. It's not a ton. It's not terrible.
12 Pro Bowls, man.
Yeah, he was great. I'm not saying he's not, but to put him in over Kevin Green is iffy to me.
See, I think Seau was the more complete player than Green. That's why I have no problem putting him in. Well, here's a guy I don't think that deserves to get in, and somebody that you absolutely love. I think you have posters of him up in your room. Kurt Warner.
Tingelhoff.
Warner is a 2-time NFL MVP. He was Super Bowl MVP. He has the highest passer rating and led the NFL in touchdown passes twice. He's the only QB to throw for 300 yards or more in 3 Super Bowls.
That's wild.
All that
It's a
said,
fun stat.
I don't think he was good enough over a long term. I just think he had like 5 good seasons out of his whole career, and the rest were just not that great.
It's as simple as he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's still a Hall of Famer. Anytime you can be the best player in the NFL 2 different times,
And change the whole that team,
dynamics of football.
when you talk about that, he was the catalyst, and that team changed the whole style of football.
And he made a
Greatest
he was-
show on
I-
turf.
Greatest
I
show on
believe
turf.
he was
What
the
a-
first
what a
guy to
great
make a Super
catchphrase.
Bowl with 2 different teams.
Yeah,
He didn't win it with 2 different teams. He just made it. But still, this guy,
he
He done something nobody else ever did.
against us, right?
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
the first
that's
quarterback to
core.
make it with 2 different teams. Let's clarify that. He's not the first player to ever make a Super Bowl with 2 different teams.
what did I say, player?
Yeah.
Well, obviously I meant quarterback because we were just talking about Charles Haley. But
Just-
this guy did something no one else ever did. He was out of the game, and then he came back and turned his offense into something people never seen before. It would have been like if Tommy Maddox would have done that for us.
Yeah.
It would have been the same thing, but Kurt Warner actually followed through with it.
I'm not impressed. I don't really like the guy.
You know
Whenever
what I
he
mean?
was playing poorly and his wife had to come out on ESPN and tell everybody to stop picking on him because it wasn't nice and it hurt his feelings, I just lost all respect for him.
I don't remember that.
I think I do remember something about
That's
that, but I don't
hardcore.
really care.
I care.
Sometimes wives are crazy.
Well, you got to
Yeah.
set her straight.
No, sometimes.
Well, they
there's
probably
nothing
got
you can do.
divorced.
They're
Right
not
out of
divorced. They're still married. Kurt Warner's a godly man. He doesn't
You
believe
say,
in
I,
divorce.
I love this dude. You know all about his personal life.
Well, I run
Yeah.
a sports show, so I had to do some research here.
You were researching if he's still married? Where do you get this info, man? You are a prolific host.
Believe that. That's the first
Spread
compliment you've
solo.
ever given me, I think.
Spread solo
Johnny Parlay's been
investigation.
hating hard on me
I
lately.
see nothing in my stats that says his marital status.
Well, your stats are bunk, dude.
Well,
How many
he
kids does he
he
have?
got a great suit game
3.
because when I watch
Ages?
NFL Network, he always looks
Now,
he's always
probably
dressed
like
very well.
7, 13, and 15.
So the 15-year-old going to be the next Kurt Warner or what?
I don't know. He's got a pretty bad unibrow, so he's probably going to go play for Baltimore.
Kurt Warner, no, not a first ballot. Simple
To me, he's a never ballot, but I'll at least give you a no first ballot.
word.
All right, so we don't care about Tingelhoff. Is either of you going to put Polian or Wolf in?
We don't care about that.
Yeah, that's
We're
not
just dealing
stuff
with
we're
players.
trying to
All
talk
right, so
about.
we're putting
From
Bettis
the
in,
top.
right?
Bettis was 1. Now, what do we have? 5?
We can put
you
5 of these.
choose
I'm
up
putting
to
Tim
5.
Brown in 100%.
All right, so Bettis and Brown.
Bettis and Brown. Are we including coaches here?
No, let them decide on
Okay.
it.
We don't want them in anyway. They're not this year, no.
All right, we got Bettis, Brown, Terrell Davis. I say no.
No.
Kevin Green.
Yeah, he's in.
Green, yes. Charles Haley, not if Green's going in. You can't put them both in the same year.
Right.
Okay, Marvin Harrison.
No.
No. John Lynch.
No.
Okay, Orlando Pace or Will Shields.
One was a guard and one was a tackle.
Yes.
So you
Shields
could put
was
them
the
both
guard.
in if there's nothing else you like.
But then you got Seau or Warner. So you got 2 players
Well, I'm not
left.
putting Warner in, and if you,
Okay, so then you got
Shields, because he's been there.
why can't you put Haley
Shields
and Green
deserves
in,
it now,
but
right?
you can put Seau and one of those in? I don't know.
Seau's like I said earlier, Seau's a different circumstance to me. It's more of an honorary thing. He's gonna get in eventually anyway, so why not just put him in right now if there's the room? There's very rarely 5 people put in.
Bettis has to be a lock this year, right?
I think so. I don't think the voters see that way, but I think so. The dude carried our offense. I don't care what anybody says. He
It's
carried
so
our
tough to
whole
put
entire
Seau in
offense.
his first year.
I will agree not to put Seau in, but I'm putting Will Shields in over Orlando Pace then.
Well, I say
Yeah.
put them both in, and then you're set.
Yeah.
All right, so if we don't put Seau in, Warner's garbage, so then we got Pace and Shields in. So that's 5, right?
It's 5.
Yeah.
Pace, Shields, Brown, Bettis, and
Green.
Green. I like it. And there's probably going to be a coach actually elected, so one of those guys that we picked probably aren't even going to get in.
It's a good class, but
I see Dungy probably getting in.
just to reiterate what you said before, to see guys come into the league and then now we're seeing them up for Hall of Fame, man, we're old.
Believe that.
We've seen it with a lot of guys: Troy Aikman, Emmett Smith, Deion Sanders.
We've seen a
Marvin
we've seen a lot
Harrison.
of we've seen the best quarterback in the NFL.
Brady.
Which one?
Well, either one, I guess. Got to see the best quarterback's careers.
I didn't
We
get
got
to
to
see
see
all-
Montana play. We got to see
we got to
Young
see
play.
Montana play. We really didn't get to see
The
him
question:
from the
will
beginning.
there ever be NFL players like these guys again? I don't know. Them guys, the NFL now, it's crazy. They're,
Yeah, these guys are like
young-
iconic to me. Looking at this picture
Yeah.
of Kevin Green just makes me feel like
I mean, like you
makes me
said,
feel like I'm 10 years old.
J.J. Watt, like you said. I mean, those players are far and few that are like.
Antonio Brown.
Is Brown
I
going to
don't
do it
know
for a whole
about
career
Antonio.
though?
Antonio is a monster.
Yeah, he's gonna want $300 million and
Well,
go
does
to.
he have? To, he
go
doesn't
to,
have to do it for the Steelers to be a beast.
No, but
what I'm
Easy's right.
saying.
It
He'll-
gets, it's different.
It's
it
different
feels
nowadays.
different with these players because they're a little more. I don't want to call them greedy because they're getting what they deserve, but it's more of a cash grab. These guys were doing it for the love of their team and their
Yeah, 'cause
franchise,
just the whole-
and they made money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
It
saying
felt
they
like
didn't make
it.
money.
We were just kids then, though. Remember, we didn't know what we know now.
Yeah, I guess
And plus, the media changes everything too.
that was a good look at it. That's a good class. It's gonna be interesting.
Really brings me back to my childhood looking at this list.
Love it.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming in and sitting here for the last 5 hours talking. Dash, you look like you're ready to roll.
I am.
Believe it. I want to thank you fans for listening. You guys can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to that YouTube channel. As soon as these guys get voted in, we'll do another segment on who got in. Till
That's it.
then,
Spread them.
peace.